https://discord.gg/flat-earth. Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
Greatangelo.
Want to sit there for 24 hours and watch the whole video. That's the
I'll
only
watch
way you'll
it,
do
yeah.
it. No, you
Watch
wouldn't.
it.
How many days out
Yeah,
of the
what?
year is there 24-hour sun in Antarctica? Do you know? So I asked the question again. How many days out of the year is
How many days what?
How many days out of the year is there supposed to be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
It depends on where you are in Antarctica, at the below the Antarctic Circle.
Yeah, so how many days out of the year would I be able to observe a 24-hour sun?
It wouldn't matter. I mean, even if it was only 10 days, it's obviously longer than that. I think it's several weeks at the pole, and as you get closer, yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Why you just say you don't know?
Yo, great.
Well, I don't know exactly. I just said that I didn't know. I just said
you don't know then.
But the point is,
open.
who cares? The point is there is a 24-hour sun down there, and plenty of people have said it. Don't interrupt me.
Fuck you.
Thank you.
You fucking
You won't be
moron.
nice.
Every time I get fucked, I love it.
Really? This is going to be a gay exploration to your ass. You understand that, right?
Anyway, let's get on with the subject.
Yeah, good. So you're making claims about a 24-hour sun. My question was about how many days this 24-hour sun should be observed. You don't know would be the honest answer. I know the answer, but I ain't going to fucking tell you. You got to be there at a very specific time to see the 24-hour sun from the quote-unquote South Pole.
Well, yeah, from the South Pole, but nobody goes to the South Pole to see the 24-hour sun because you don't have to be at the South Pole to see it. You can see it anywhere south of the Antarctic Circle.
How many days out of the year?
Just open Google like he did.
No, I didn't open Google, my friend. In actual fact, I haven't touched Google for about 3 days. And with regards to this argument, this is something I've known for like 5 years. So please don't define my thoughts. Please don't divine my intellect either. That would be disingenuous of you to even try to do that.
4 months.
Brilliant. Well done.
So what?
So you...
I do love very quick Google searches. You might want to try a little bit harder than your very quick Google search, right?
So what? I mean, what does that make you feel? So I have to look up how many months, that you can see a 24-hour sun. What does that have to do with the fact that there is a 24-hour sun, which means the only way that's possible is on a globe?
No, because the surface of the Earth is still measured to be horizontal. Can you shut up while I answer and deal with this gentleman?
Yes, yes,
Thank you. Can you shut up? Thanks. It wouldn't change that the surface of the Earth is measured to be horizontal now, would it?
We're not measuring the surface of the Earth being horizontal. What we're looking at is the what's happening in the sky and why it's happening. Because you can't make that jump to make a conclusion, that this must be a globe that we're looking at, because this is the only way you're going to get a 24-hour sun. Or you're going to come and make up some kind of magical, you're going to make some kind of magical path the sun is going to do, and the rest of the world somehow doesn't get any light up in the northern hemisphere, up above the Arctic Circle, which is dark for 24 hours for 4 months. Why is it you can't explain that? Because you don't know the shape of the Earth.
No one's making a claim to the shape of the Earth, but what we do demonstrate is the aspect of the Earth is level upon the surface.
So
like
what?
I said, well, then the Earth is still level then.
If you took a giant ball and tried to measure its curvature, you'd get level if you were small enough.
Clearly not listening. The Earth is still measured to be flat and horizontal. I don't care what the sun does.
It's not measured completely flat and horizontal.
Yes, it is. Apart from mountains, valleys, hills, and topography, over distances of water, what the Earth is measured to be horizontal.
And things don't disappear from the bottom up as they move away, like mountains disappearing from the bottom up as you move away from them, boats disappearing from the bottom up as they move away from you, and the sun, ironically, disappearing from the bottom up, not changing its size. Those are things that you see and observe, but you still can claim it's horizontal.
Greatangelo.
Sorry, excuse me. So this is something to do with perspective. It's called angular resolution when things reach that diffraction limit across the
That's
surface.
okay.
But the water is still measured to be horizontal. You've just made a claim of Earth curvature obstructing your ability to see things. Now, when I show you that the horizon isn't in its mathematical location of 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, but with distance, things still disappear from the bottom up. That's just because of angular resolution, a diffraction limit.
That's because we have an atmosphere. So what?
So it's
all
optical.
You're talking about is an optical. All you're talking about is refraction, and claiming a win on that. But you know nothing about what about a vacuum?
Oh, it's trying to define my fucking intellect again. So it's optical then. You've just brought up the atmosphere, so it's optical then, not Earth curvature. Thanks for playing.
Keep going. Just call your win because that's what you want to rest on is optical. You guys die in the wrong mountains.
Well, you're dying on this hill. You've made a claim to physical obstruction, and as soon as I pointed out that it's something else, you brought up the atmosphere, so not physical obstruction.
Something as big as the sun, disappearing from the bottom up doesn't make sense on refraction either.
What's the sun?
You can't P90 or 900 a sun. No, you can't, because what happens is you can actually go in a building and go up 100 floors and get another sunset.
Wow. Does that mean you've increased your angle above the surface?
Yeah, how come you get that?
That's because you've increased your angle above the surface and you can see further. Wow.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Burj Khalifa?
So you should still be able to see large objects off in the distance. And the only two large objects I can see off in the distance, regardless of how far away they are, are the sun and the moon. Other than that, mountains apparently disappear. Why does that happen? From the bottom up every time.
Well, you've already said that's refraction.
If they were flat, it wouldn't matter. No, reflection doesn't work.
2 words. I got 2 words out. You said refraction. You said the atmosphere. When I point out to you that the horizon isn't in its geometric location of 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, you'll just scream refraction. So it's optical then.
Now there's one other problem I want to ask you about, and it's a really simple one. I live in the southern hemisphere. I have friends who live over in Australia, basically, and if they took an expedition from, say, Tasmania and went straight south to the wall, and I went straight south from southern Chile, or for that matter, southern Argentina, all the way to the ice wall. We can do that. It's very easy. We can go to the wall. We just can't go on the wall. We'll just go to the wall itself. Yes, you can.
Don't go below 60th parallel.
That's not true either. You could. It does. If you read.
What happens?
Can I finish, please?
When you leave a port? No, you can't. What happens
when
you leave a port?
Let him finish before you ask questions.
Fuck you. You do. You can't. What happens when you leave a port? What happens when you leave a port in a boat?
Read the actual
what do you have
treaty.
To do when you leave a
read
port
the
in a
treaty.
Boat?
You don't have to do anything.
What do you have to do when you leave a port in a boat?
Angelo, answer him before they mute you.
So you're gonna file what, a sailing plan?
Yep.
Okay, so fine.
Port of leave, and then port of arrival. Yeah.
Right. Except I'm not going to any port. I'm just going down to sail.
You have to tell them where you're going.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Not every country is that way. And by the way, below the 60th parallel, let me finish what the treaty says.
You think Australia just lets people sail off south from Tasmania? Do you think that happens?
Can I finish what I was going to say?
Do you think you said every country's different?
I'm going to be from Tasmania. Okay, fine. So I'll tell Tasmania. I'll tell the government.
Do you think that Australia just lets people sail off south from Tasmania? Do you think that happens?
All right, New Zealand. I'm going to leave from New
You
Zealand.
think
I'm
New
going to
Zealand
tell
just
New
lets
Zealand's
people
port.
sail off south from New
Do I
Zealand?
get to finish telling you this or not?
No, because you're talking about a hypothetical that no one's done.
Right. So here we
why
go.
don't you
Here's
tell us
your
about a
here's your
real
hypothetical.
story?
Left.
So now I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to leave port with a port of leaving is the port I'm coming back
Blah
to.
blah blah
Okay?
blah blah.
I'm
And
just
that
going
port
out
says,
sailing.
no, sorry, you can't go there.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't say I can't go sailing south.
Yes, it does. They'll say, okay, but if you do, you can't go past the 60th parallel. Otherwise, you're
Not
in
true.
international waters,
Read.
and you need a permit to go past international waters. You're not in Australian waters anymore.
How do commercial ships go south?
They have commercial ships. Are you a moron?
Nigga.
No, how does an oil tanker leave any port in the world and go south? They don't say where they're going. They're just going to say, I'm leaving.
Commercial ships have a different law. They work under maritime law.
Fine,
So
I'll use a maritime ship and I'll hire them to take me south. Fine,
But
we
you're
take
not
care of
gonna
all the
do this.
documentations. Hold on.
Angelo, you're not going to do this.
Oh, for fuck's sake! You know
You
what
can't
I'll
hire
do?
a commercial ship,
I'll-
you moron.
I'll get a hot air
Can't do
balloon.
it.
Okay, I don't
Right.
believe
You're
you.
not
I
going
don't
to
care.
do that either.
Into the realm completely
So
disingenuous.
the only reason
Blah blah
Your
blah
time
blah
to
blah
start fucking speaking
blah
here.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Blah blah
who's
blah
ever
blah
mumbling in the
blah blah.
background for your time? He was
Blah, blah.
also going to be short. I'm going to remove you from the server as well. This conversation has become untenable. I can't understand what's fucking going on.
Yo,
I can't
niggas,
hear
I
what
love
Timbo
niggas, I love
says.
niggas.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Good lad. Well done. You've also lost your time and ability to speak in this channel for 2 days. Well done, you. This conversation is untenable. We've now started to jump off into fucking realms of fantasy where someone is chartering a fucking cargo ship or something. I don't fucking know. I'll do you this fucking favour though. I will unmute you, and then you can try and have a conversation with Timbo again. If I get bored or you two start screaming through each other, I will mute you again because this conversation's fucking going nowhere.
Yeah, you can do it, man. He's not worth talking to.
Oh, fair enough. You're
He
not
just
worth
keeps talking like
about.
hypothetical after hypothetical after
Okay, so forget
hypothetical,
the
which he'll never
hypotheticals.
do.
I'm not going to bring this up anymore. I'm not going to bring up Australia, or for that matter, Chile or whatever. I know I can leave Peru and go south around the Horn of South, South America, and head on over to Africa if I want. All I got to do is file a boating plan.
Yeah.
Big deal. But what I'm trying to say is the distance between the southern tip of Australia, which would be Tasmania, and the southern tip of South America, which would be Argentina, okay, is actually longer than the distance at the wall directly south of them, directly south of Australia, and directly south of Argentina is a shorter distance. Why is it that it's getting shorter instead of longer?
Bottom of Tasmania will be 40 degrees south.
Right. And what I'm saying is between that and the wall.
Before you carry on, I've entertained you. My question is going to be this. How do you know the distance?
People have sailed it.
Okay, so I'll just bring up Admiral Cook then. No problem. He clocked up over 60,000 nautical miles when travelling around the circumference of Antarctica. Took him 3.5 years to do it. Brilliant. We've all got anecdotal stories.
Yeah, but did you look at Cook's? Did you look at Cook's route?
Shush. So we've got anecdotal stories. I can bring up more. I can bring up HMS Britannia, which also did the same fucking thing in 1982. No problem.
Cook never stayed against Antarctica. He never stayed there. He came up to South America. He came up into the South Sea Islands. He wasn't anywhere near South America most of his trip.
Awesome. So how do you know the distance between Australia and South America? Is it because you've got anecdotal stories as well?
No, there's also flights from Chile to Australia also.
Go and sail it. And when you've got first-hand knowledge, not anecdotal stories, you can come back with your first-hand knowledge.
And you won't believe my first-hand knowledge either because you'll say that's anecdotal.
Well, just go and do it and then see what's happened. We're realming off into the fucking hypothetical situations again. You're making a claim about, well, the distance is this, and compared to a flat Earth model, the distance should be that. But you've got no first-hand knowledge to even suggest either way. You're just comparing two models that you haven't verified.
And you just admitted you had a model.
I haven't given you a model.
You just did.
I'm suggesting that you have given yourself two models. I haven't given you fucking one.
No, I
You're
never
comparing two
gave
models.
two models. All I said was, why is the distance narrower closer to the wall
How do you
than it
know?
is up north?
How do you
Because
know?
it's been measured already. But that's fine. You don't have to believe me.
Okay, that's fine. Give me a
I'm good
direct
with that.
measurement of the curvature then. It doesn't matter either way. The main premise to this situation is the Earth is measured to be horizontal flat.
Okay, so what's keeping everything down? Let's jump to a new topic and talk about what's keeping everything down.
I don't know. You tell me. Again, it's not something I'm making a claim to.
Yep.
Yep. How are you making a claim?
Nope.
Well, then, looks like we've reached an
I've
impasse.
made my claim already. I said I live on a globe. I'm just wondering how you guys could believe you live on a flat Earth.
Because I've said this about 5 times now. Because the surface of the Earth is observed and measured directly to be horizontal in nature.
Do you know the fable of the 6 wise men and the elephant? The 6 blind men and the elephant?
No. Do you understand the words that just came out of my mouth? That we've
Exactly. And the comparison is very similar to that fable. It's just amazingly similar.
So with direct measurement, the surface of the Earth is horizontal. Have you
You
got a direct?
you appear to think it's that, yes.
No, that's not what I think. That's what I know. Now, have you got a direct measurement of Earth curvature?
Why do engineers then design, I should say, bridges and so forth with the curvature in mind?
Because they think that they live on the ball, but you can give me a bridge and let's go through it.
Build one flat without any curvature.
Timbo,
They
holy
do.
crap, dude.
AI,
Not doing this again. Go AI.
Dude, I want you to tell me a bridge, and I want you to tell me the construction process and material and the design that incorporated necessary compensation for the curve of the Earth and the tolerances of the building materials, whether they're greater or lesser than the alleged compensation. Go ahead, please.
Was that directed to me?
Well, you're the one making claims about bridges, right? Accounting for curvature, right?
Yeah,
so obviously it's to you.
No, well, you're going to have to ask the engineers that told me that.
They told you that?
Yeah, somebody told you the Earth was flat. There's no difference, is there?
No. So how'd the conversation go with this so-called engineer?
The only reason why I brought it up is I said because engineers, you wanted
How
some example of
did the
measurable curvature.
conversation go? Holy fuck, dude. Are you slow in the head?
No.
Okay, so you were asked a question. So the correct answer to the question is, well, the guy said this, and then he said that, and then he concluded this. And so I took it as this. That's kind of how your answer should go. Maybe he showed you engineering plans. Maybe he showed you equations. Maybe he showed you the tolerances of the building materials and how they're interconnected and how they're constructed and how if you didn't account for the minuscule amount of alleged Earth curvature during that span, that the whole bridge would fall down and kill everyone. Maybe that's how the conversation went. But in actuality, the conversation didn't go like any of that because it was total bullshit. Yes, so when you have the things I asked for, by all means, bring them, and then we at least have something to scrutinize rather than just hearsay of an anecdote. Until then, I rest my case. Ad infinitum into the future and ex ante into the past, and yield the floor.
I had a question that came up during the last conversation. If like one of you guys that are like mods in the channel could get on like a private plane or like a private jet or something and fly high enough to see curvature, or let's be more clear, to fly high enough to where if curvature exists, you would see it. Then, and if it doesn't exist, then you wouldn't see it.
That's
Have any
not
of you
possible.
mods? What do you mean? But you think it's like too far, like you need a spaceship
At
on
what height do you have to fly to see said curvature?
it?
Have you seen Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about this?
I don't know. But I mean, there's a line,
Well,
right?
you should look at Neil deGrasse Tyson's video where he talks about it.
He walked that back 2 days later. You didn't even finish watching the second video he put out where he walked that back and said, you can see it from the International Space Station. At about 200 miles, you start seeing curvature. A lot of it.
Holy crap, dude. That's not walking that back. Are you slow in the head?
So
Okay,
what
let's
about
be clear,
Paul
friends. Hold on. Let's be clear. Homeboy was mentioning things of in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of feet, right? And then that was said to have been walked back by mentioning something at hundreds upon hundreds of miles. So no, that's not walking back that you wouldn't see curvature at heights planes could reach. Not even close.
The answer to your bridges problem is any bridges longer than a half a mile, they start taking into consideration the curvature of the Earth. That's your engineer's answer right there.
Oh, yeah, cool story. Yeah, cool story,
I'll
bro.
give you the
Was
reference
that
for
any
you.
of the
Hold on.
4 things? I don't care. Was that any of the 4 things I asked for?
I don't know what you asked me for. I was too busy trying to get the answer for the first question.
Wow. What was the first question?
Do engineers use take into account for the curvature of the Earth when building bridges? And the answer is yes, in longer bridges.
What? You're trying to say that I asked that question?
You challenged my claim.
somebody
That's
else?
answer. That's
It
a
was a
question when
different
you
person.
challenge it. Thank you.
Jimbo, I think.
It was both of us, but yeah, that's fine. Can you show us the engineering? Can you show us the engineering drawings with that information on it? Because it's all right to say you can look
Okay.
up an article that says that you look up bridges take into account curvature, but in the actual maths of the engineering and structural engineering plans of the bridge, there would be a mention of the curvature, but there's not. If you can find some, I'd be
Yeah,
delighted to
especially
look at it.
yes, especially in the construction plans, and especially in the sense that you're building things off essentially a datum of plumb and level, and your parallels and all of this. So the alleged curve of the Earth would have to be greater than the allowances of the tolerances of the fasteners, the joints, and the construction material and the segments in which you constructed itself. And I will submit to you that you can look up some of these tolerances, and some of them are 1.5 inches per section. And that already supersedes the alleged Earth curvature for these bridges of this scale. For example, the Verrazano narrow bridges towers are alleged, if the Earth was a perfect sphere, and if the towers were erected perfectly plumb with perfectly parallel walls, which they aren't, by the way, but if they were, then the towers would be theoretically 1.5 inches out at the top versus the bottom. Now, at the height of those towers, those tolerances are far within the range of the tolerances of the material, which means it's impracticable to engineer the bridge within the tolerance of the alleged Earth curvature. It's not possible. So your point is moot and flawed and failed because you didn't answer any of the 4 questions I asked. So just some homeboy saying we account for the curve of the Earth isn't evidence of anything except a claim. It's just a look. All that is, friend, is just another person who's not you saying the same claim that you already said. That's not proof of the claim. That's just a repetition of the claim. But by all means, I'll wait for the answer to the 4 questions. I'll be here.
So my previous question, could one of you guys answer that? The one where,
What's the question?
yeah, if one of you could get in, pay or have someone pay for you, whatever, like a private jet or a private rocket ship, whatever, and you could get to that height where you could see or not see curvature, whatever, the number of the height's supposed to be.
Twiggy, didn't we already talk about this?
I think it was about
About an
airplanes
hour.
at the time. Yeah, I think it was
About
about
an hour
airplanes at the
ago.
time, so it's different.
Yeah, It was
Like, but
about
I
an
guess
hour
if you
ago.
could
Yeah.
visually see the curvature, like, would you guys accept it? Or
Oh,
no?
dude, it's fair. Look, you got a fair question, homie. So don't let the fact that it was already stated dissuade you, because there's new people here that haven't heard it. So look, what you're basically asking is that if someone who's a flat earther went to a vantage point where they could see the Earth in its entirety and validate that it was indeed this or that, would they
Right.
The
accept
Earth
that
is not
validation, all
flat.
things being equal? Oh my
The
goodness,
Earth
who
is
cares,
not
dude?
flat.
Yeah, you're great, dude. Your mom's proud of you, bro.
So I take it you guys probably would accept that, correct?
Yes, I mean, we're not liars, dude.
Okay, so I mean, isn't
Okay,
that
we don't
like
hold a position. Just hold on, friend. We don't hold the position that we hold because we're intrinsically contrarian and dishonest. Okay, we're just persuaded by certain evidences and rationale that such and so is the case. Now, you're saying if you had prima facie explicit evidence that this is the case, would you accept it? Well, I think all things being equal, yes.
cool? I mean, because
Now, would that mean I wouldn't apply any scrutiny whatsoever? Of course not. I would apply at least some scrutiny, right? But all things being equal, that scrutiny, if it was a prima facie case, would probably, be answered easily. And they'd be like, well, yeah, obviously, I went out beyond the Earth, saw the Earth, went around the Earth to validate that it's, three-dimensional and it's not just an illusion, right?
right.
And then, yeah, why wouldn't you accept that?
So in that case, isn't this like an incredibly easy problem to solve? And like we don't have to have like years of debate and challenge over it. We just have to send one flat earther up that you guys like trust to
No,
go.
no, it's not going to work, dude. Not going to work.
Why not?
Because when that flat earther comes back, right, you're basically saying that the arbiter of all the other flat earthers switching their position will be faith in that one man's opinion or testimony or anecdote, right? For example, me, let's say they sent me and I came back and said, I saw this. That's not going to immediately switch everybody's mind. They're going to want answers to certain questions of scrutiny, right? Because I just have a story, you see. It's not just going to be my story sells the day. Kind of like in the past, the astronauts went up there, they came back and said they did it, and people believed them.
I have a question.
So then, I guess how is it provable? Let's say hypothetically this is possible. You could send someone up and they could see it. How would you prove that in such a way for all the other flat earthers to believe? Like, would you have to record the whole thing and play the video like uncut? Would that be satisfactory?
Could be, depending on the method you use, yeah. If, it's beyond reproach and easily accessible to the common man to be able to scrutinize and validate, then,
Because
yeah, I don't see why
kind
that
of
would
the
be unreasonable.
drawback kind of the drawback with the mentality of like it has like I like as a common person have to be able to prove it is like some things are just not that easy to prove. Like it's real easy just if you have a ton of money you could just buy your way up, right? And then it's easy to prove in the sense that it's expensive, but like
Hey, yo, check this out, bro. Check this out. Just chill for a second. Of the people that have quote unquote allegedly bought their way up, right? How many of them actually reached a vantage point where they could see the Earth in totality to validate its complete shape? How many?
no idea.
I'll give you a hint. 0. Not one person, dude. Okay? The only people that have been far enough away from the Earth to validate its shape and totality were the Apollo astronauts.
Not true.
Allegedly.
Gemini
That's
6.
it.
Gemini 6 went up 600 miles, and they
Okay.
could easily see the curvature.
Oh, 600? So my recollection is that you got to be somewhere between 700 and 1200, but 600 may be
Nope.
close. Okay, so how
Also,
many people did
Gemini
that mission?
7
How
went to
many?
800 miles.
Okay, cool. So how many total people?
I have a question.
That would be 4, 2 in each capsule.
Plus the Apollo dudes, how many were they? Because there was
12.
there was the alleged orbiters and then the landers. Yeah, so 12. So less than 20 men, right?
12 that landed on the moon. I'm sorry, we got to include the ones that orbited the moon also.
Yes. And we also have to include the cameraman that got there first. So that's another guy. So at least 20 men, right?
Well, don't make stuff up. Let's just go with what the claim is. Don't worry about making stuff up. If you want to claim that it's fake and that it was done in a studio, that's fine. That's your claim.
Dude, that's just a joke, bro. The whole point is it's less than 20 men, right? of which none are rich private citizens, right?
I have a question.
Can you wait for your question until this one has been fully answered? You've asked 3 times, so just wait. We'll get to you.
Okay, damn.
Thank you, mate.
Well, we don't need him to answer. I think the math works out to less than 20. So yeah, so we have the word of 20 men. Listen, check this out, friends. We have the word of 20 men who haven't even given their word as testimony. It's purely anecdotal. Except with any corroborating alleged evidence, like if they have photographs or any type of those things, which you could then scrutinize further. Well, otherwise, it's just their word. All right, I think with that, we can let the other guy ask his question.
How did you like figure like the Earth is flat, and like how do you what do you believe also about the Earth, and like do you have a community, or like did your father come with this, or like tell me.
This is a community.
Oh, like wait, so everybody, like a lot of people here are
27 people went to the moon.
Hey, Greatangelo, awesome.
Do you like? I heard like some like flat earthers believe there's like an ice around it to keep the water. Like, where do you think the water goes? Like,
They believe that, but you can't confirm things like that. You know, it's a globe thing anyway, that there is an ice wall. So the outside of Antarctica has a cliff, glacial cliff from the pack ice. You know, from the, what do they call it?
Ice shelves.
What do you
Ice
think's on the other
shelves.
side of the wall?
Hang on, someone else is talking at the moment. So, you know, it's not a flat Earth thing, the ice wall. It's a global position.
so I have just one simple question: how did we bomb Nagasaki? Did we
Just flew there. Yeah.
we flew all the way like the other side?
What do you
Oh,
mean?
goodness
Are you
me.
thinking of
We're
Pac-Man
back
Earth
to
again?
like,
Oh, we got another one, have we?
Like
yeah, we've got Square Earth
if
again. Brilliant.
no, oh, there you. I'm just saying, like, even like if it wasn't flat, how would we wouldn't
Just fly west,
fly?
man. Fly
So you
west
do
from
think it's
the
round?
US? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Why me saying west is
do you think it's like
making
split
it a
in the
globe?
Pacific, or
They
What do you
flew
mean
from
split?
Tinian Island. They didn't fly from the United States.
Who gives a shit? He's asking a question. How did they bomb them? So they flew there
yeah,
and dropped bombs, didn't they?
yeah, like wouldn't like
Yeah.
Japan know? Like,
Does that make it a globe or not?
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't
No,
make it a
I'm not
globe.
talking to you, man. I'm talking to that dickhead that piped in.
It's all right. It's not going to pipe in for a while. I've stuck him on mute until you've answered this question, and I'll take him off mute again.
What is your profession? See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.